Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are located. I am Denise Armenio, and we are here for the Inside Health Apps Genius app weekly training, our Thursday live. And we are very fortunate to have Pam here as our volunteer today, so thank you. And I also have as my helper and host, Claire McIntyre. Thank you so much. And she will be helping answering questions in the chat for anybody that has a question that I don't get to directly answer while I'm doing the demo. But thank you everyone for being here. And Pam, I have entered Pam's specific information into the Genius app, which I'm going to start sharing in just a minute here. So, whoops, hold on, I've got to bring it over. I think you should all be able to see the Genius app now. So I have added her name and her birth date, which is her specific information. And I've entered it so that it won't be there publicly when we replay this into YouTube. So thank you for that. So Pam, if you can just unmic for a minute and just let me know so we can talk about some of the issues that you are dealing with right now and what you would like to work on in this session. That would be amazing. I can't hear you if you're talking right now.
No, I'm not, but I am
now.
now.
Oh, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
Yeah.
So what would you like to work on for today?
Well, I don't see clarity there, but I'd love that. But depression, anxiety.
Okay, hold on. Wait. Hold that thought. So the best way to do this, so for you, so you can see if you have a measurable difference, is I ask you to rate it on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being severe. So when you, and I want to know what it is today. I don't care about yesterday, a week ago, generally what it is, but today, how would you rate your depression or your anxiety on a scale of 0 to 10?
Well, right now it's like a 2.
So you don't have a lot right now.
Not right now. Give me a minute.
Okay, that's no, that's totally good. So hold on. So it's a 2 out of 10. And what about pain?
0.
So no, okay, so no pain. So any other symptoms you want to work with?
Allergies.
Okay. And rate it on a scale of 0 to 10.
I think a 7.
Okay, awesome. I mean, not awesome that you have them, but awesome that there's something that we could work with there. And what is the specific symptom of your allergy? Is it congestion, sneezing, sore throat?
It's a
the above?
It's a post-nasal drip that just, I have to clear my throat all the time, like all the time.
Okay. And anything else that you want to work with?
Digestive imbalances.
Digestive. Okay. And how would you rate that?
Well, right at this exact moment, I haven't eaten anything though. So right now it's like a 1.
Okay. So, and if you were to rate like your overall well-being in the moment on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being severe, how do you see yourself today? Like, how would you rate yourself?
I'd say a 7.
7 getting closer on the severe side. So you're not seeing your well-being as very strong today.
Oh, I see. No, I'm sorry. My well-being.
So like a 3, you're saying like a 3 then?
Yes, right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I had a feeling that 7 wasn't on the severe side. Okay, great. So these are, we can look at some of these things and put them in. This has nothing to do with the scan. This is just for the records and me as a practitioner knowing what the issues are that we worked with on this given session. So we entered all this information, but we will work with you for your depression and anxiety and allergies and digestive issues in this session.
Okay. I bruise easily also. I don't know if you want to put that in there.
I think we're going to use that as like just part of the general clearings, and hopefully that will assist with that. Okay, so here is where you will record for 15 seconds. You'll say your name and you'll repeat the vowels A, E, I, O, U, probably 3 or 4 times until this 15-second counter gets to 0. And so the genius uses your voice and the energy given from your voice formants to help analyze what is going on in your body. So I will count you down. I'll say 3, 2, 1, begin, and then you can say your full name and again repeat the vowels. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, begin.
Pamela Eileen Com, A-E-I-O-U, 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 A-E-I-O-U.
Perfect. Okay, so now on the bottom left, you see it says voice harmonics.
Yeah.
This, I recommend that everybody listens to this after you do your recording. This is the Genius. It's the translation from your spoken word into a frequency, and this frequency has healing benefits for you, much like homeopathic. So like cancels out like. So I'm just going to play this for you right now. I just want to make sure, hold on 1 second, that I have the sharing this sound. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so now we can just move on and hit next. And continue. Okay, so now it asks that I take a picture of you so that the genius can analyze your picture and extrapolate some energy from there. So I'm just going to take a quick screenshot here from the video. And now I just need to add it. And there you are. And I can just hit done and begin analysis. Okay, so the next thing it's asking is for an energetic affirmation. So what the genius will do here is it will use an affirmation. Sometimes people have an affirmation that they like to use daily, weekly, monthly, but the genius will translate that written text or affirmation into a frequency, much like it just did to your spoken word. And it will overlay that frequency throughout the session whenever we run frequencies. So I do have an affirmation that I'd like to use if you want me to use that. Otherwise, if you have something that you prefer, I could use the one that you like. It's up to you.
I have one I like.
Okay, great.
I just type it in?
Go ahead. No, I'll type it in for you.
Oh, your will, not mine.
Okay. And I can just hit OK. And now I'm just going to hit begin analysis. Okay, Okay, so basically there are three categories: mind, biofield, and body. And when the Genius does the analysis, it will order them in the priority on where it sees that you need your work. So for you, it came up mind, biofield, and body. Custom libraries is always going to be on the bottom. That's not included when it analyzes it. So, it's suggesting that for you, the priority work should be in the mind. But before we get into that, first I want to explain what the numbers and the colors mean. So the Genius uses a numerical value system from 0 to 777. That range is divided into 4 ranges. So starting at the lower end of those range, 0 to 200 is represented by the color blue. And items in this range are observed to be chronic energetic disturbances, meaning that you've had that disturbance, for a longer period of time, chronically. It's also observed to be stagnant energy. It could also be referred to as under energy, and items in this range are observed to cause a crisis on the body. So it's having more, it causes more of an impact on the body. The next range is represented by the color green, and it goes from 201 to 450. And then the next range is represented by yellow, and that goes from 451 to 600. And then the top range goes from 601 to 777, and that is represented by the color red. Items in this range are they're observed to be acute energetic disturbances, and they can also be referred to as heat or inflammation, over energy, and these items are causing a current stress on your body. There are stresses that are happening right now in the present. So people who are very empathic can be picking up these energies from other people. So sometimes you may look at them and think that I don't resonate with that, but it could be that you're absorbing that from the people around you. So just be mindful of that. The Genius is not diagnostic in the allopathic sense. It is picking up energetic disturbances. So you can't go to your regular doctor and say, this showed up, can you test me for this? Because you're looking at different things. You're looking at energetic imprints versus physical imprints. So it's not the same thing. So the next thing I wanted to just point out to you are these arrows on the left side. Those are just there to let you know that there's information. You can go a level deeper. So you could click on the arrow, or you can click on the line. It's going to give you the same information. It's just that it's going to display the information a slightly different view. Most people tend to click on the line because it gives you the information and it's color coded, so you can extrapolate or view the information easier knowing what the color coding is on that. But if you were to click the arrow, it's the same information. It's just not, you're just not seeing the color code. So that's the only difference there. Before we continue, I do want to show you, if you go down to the biofield aura, if you click on the line for the aura, you will be able to get your aura scan or aura picture. So once you click on it, you can then begin analysis. Okay, so I'm just going to click on to hide the avatar so we could see the center. So basically what we're looking for when we look at the aura is bright, vibrant colors. There are 7 colors of the chakras that we normally see. And we're looking for bright colors kind of on the neon side. So the green that you're seeing here is kind of a good green that you're seeing. That is a few layers out. So the center relates to the physical body, emotional body, and then it goes out dimensionally and is all the layers of your auric field. So this outside layer here, which is kind of dirty and muddy, is a good indication that there is stagnant energy, interference, and some negative energies in there. So one thing that it would be good to work on here is the spiritual protection panel. We see a lot of this blurriness now ever since I can't say the word, but the the jab, and it's been observed that it's weakening our auric field. So our ability to be able to work with and have maintenance on our aura is really very important, because it is letting in a lot of negative energy. So we will work on helping to clear that up today. There is also, it says switch to old, and what the old is before we were Genius 1.0, and then I think, was it in over about a year ago, a year and a half ago maybe, we upgraded to the 2.0. So we had that new version of the aura, but we still like this old version because it does show us some different information. The one thing, again, here you're looking for bright, vibrant colors, but you also want to see on a very basic level, all 4 corners filled with color, and that is going to tell you if you're grounded in your body. So the good news is that this is filled with color in all 4 corners, but I would want to work on, because those colors are very kind of like muddy and dirty, and hopefully we can brighten those up and clear those up just a little bit for you. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to start, let's just look at we're going to look to the body and look at your today's stress, just to see what's going on. And remember, what's showing in red is what's happening today. It's don't get alarmed by seeing the color red. It's what's showing up today. So there's environmental, connective tissue, adrenals, acid, blood sugar. You haven't eaten, so that's very possible why your blood sugar is out of balance right now. It doesn't mean something's bad, it just means it's out of balance. Environmental, you mentioned allergies. The environment could be throwing off, and that's why out of balance, and that's why your allergies are showing. You can scroll down to the blue. Now, these are aspects that have been out of balance for a longer period of time, and that's sensitivity. So again, your sensitivities, we can look at that to see what those sensitivities are: inflammation, lymphatic, nutritional, kidneys. Now, nutritional, many people could be eating very healthy diets, but if they're not being absorbed for whatever reason, it's still going to show up as being out of balance, right? Because if your body's not absorbing it, or you have parasites and they're absorbing your nutrients and your cells aren't getting the nutrients, that's going to show up all as imbalance. So those are all things that we can look at. That's just the general picture of what's going on. So now what I wanted to do is to work with you on what the steps are that I take when I run a session. So the first thing that I always start with is priming the body. And what do I mean by that? Priming the body is making sure that we're sending all the frequencies to your cells, like your minerals, vitamins, amino acids that it needs for your cells to function at an optimal level. We can't expect anything else to run optimally if your cells aren't running optimally, right? And the other thing is our auric field, because our auric field is our force field, much like, you know, the Enterprise on Star Trek has a force field that protects the ship. Our auric field protects us. So if our auric field has holes or tears or breaches in it and things can come in, that's going to get to our physical body. So those are the things that we want to take care of. So when we look at protecting the auric field, we want to work with everything in the biofield here. So for those of you that may be on the trial and don't have any libraries, my suggestion is to add all the items from the biofield and put it into the main hold tray. And then also go to minerals, vitamins, and amino acids and add it to the main hold tray. For this demonstration, I'm going to go into custom libraries where I have a library that has all of these already included. And it's also a good way for everybody to see if you're thinking about purchasing one of the packages, the BioTerrain packages. This will show you all the BioTerrain libraries if you're interested and you want to see what's included in those. And I'm just going to hit begin analysis. Okay, so now after that had a chance of running through its analysis, we can just put in, if you hit the tab in the center, it reveals an advanced search bar here. So you can just go to the search and I'm going to type in BioTerrain. And at the top, you'll see the vessel priming frequencies. And I've also highlighted it by saying, sorry guys, my AirPod just popped out. It says begin, and you can click on it and you can drag it down and it will add all 166 items. And for anybody that's watching this who has the BioTerrain, I did just recently add one item. So you may want to update if you don't say 166 items. And I forget what the item is, quite frankly, but you should see 166 items. So you'll have to log all the way out and back in to get that update. So since these have all been added, we can now go to the play button, which is on the bottom right of the main hold tray, and hit analysis here. And I'm going to select all. And so that's going to run all 166 frequencies. And I'm going to move the timer to 1 minute and select play. Okay, so if you look at the bottom, all the way at the bottom, the average percent rectification is 40%, so that's good. And if you look above that, it says harmony, alignment, and energy flow. So I like to look at the 3 percentages for each of those. And I look at the low, which is 34% for alignment, and then look at the high percentage harmony, which is 49%. And I personally don't like this range to extend beyond 20%. If it does, I found that it's not as stable. So even though you might be at 40%, if that range is bigger, it may not hold for very long because it's not as stable. It'll go out of balance easier. If you just think of everything as balance, and if you think of like a scale with like little pebbles, if there's that big disparity in between the low and the high, one thing that like might come in, an energy that comes in could easily throw it all out of balance. So that's why I look for that to be tight. I hope that everybody understands that. So it is in a good range here for you, and it is at 40%. So that's good. So basically the genius, if it's between 20 and 40%, it's good. And anything above 40% is excellent. So what I would do here is I would move the timer down to 0, and I'll deselect the all. And now I'll just run the highs and the lows for 30 seconds and see if we can get that 40% up a little bit higher. Okay, so awesome. So now you can see that it says the average percent rectification on the bottom is 62%. That's amazing. And you'll also see that the alignment, which is the low percentage there at 52% and 69. So again, that's within that 20%. So that's awesome. So I'm happy with that. So we can move on from here. So I'm going to arrow back now to the system overview page. I just want to, I can click on this up arrow that's just to the left of the wording for main hold tray, and I can hit clear all. I'll close that. And now my step 2 is I'm going to work with the general overview. And the way that you get to the general overview is that you click on the words at the top of the page for system overview. And what it does is the system overview has everything organized by categories and libraries. The general overview takes everything from that system overview page. It takes it out of all the categories, and it also takes all my custom libraries, and it puts in numerical order all the line items into numerical order. So there are no categories anymore. And the reason why this is so important is because now you can see all the reds that are what's out of balance presently, but more importantly, the blues, what's out of balance on a more chronic level. And these are most likely going to be the underlying causes or the root cause for many of the symptoms that you are experiencing. It doesn't mean that it's all of them, because again, that information is limited to the libraries that I have, but from the libraries that I have and all the frequencies that makes up from all the different line items, and I have over 2,000 libraries, so you're going to have a lot there. We can get to work on a lot of your root cause. So what I am going to do next is, you can see at the top, it says 0 to 100. I'm going to switch the view because right now we're looking at the reds. And although everybody, I know we're conditioned to think of red as like alarm or worry, this is just what's happening now in the present. It's just a blip. But what we want to look at is the more chronic issues. So we're going to click on 0 to 100. And now we can see everything that's been out of balance chronically. And we can go to the bottom, to the little crosshair or the plus, and we're going to add the bottom 50. Now, depending on how many panels you have and how many line items you have, you can work with this differently. For me, since I have so many, I choose the bottom 50 because it's easier for me than dragging and dropping all those items. If you don't have as many items, you may want to add all blue. But if I were to select, if I hit this crosshair and hit all blue items, I would have like 35,000 items. And that's way, way, way too many. And you would be overstimulating the body, and I really don't recommend that at all. So I've just added 50. So some of these, so the top thing that has chronically been off for you is sensitivities. So, and we looked at that in today's stress, but we're going to go after we work with this general overview, we're going to look into sensitivities and see what some of those may be for you. And then we can see there's some things, Addison's disease doesn't mean you have it, but that frequency is in your field. We see some other things in here. I don't really get too concerned with what the frequencies are. I just trust that the genius and what it comes up with are the frequencies that you need. You don't need to overanalyze it. We're just looking to balance them. And once these items have become balanced, then that could bring your body into homeostasis, and that's when your body can begin to heal itself. So now we can remove the libraries. And now we're just looking at the items from the system overview page, and I'm just going to add all the blue items. Okay, so that adds another 100 items, so that's 150 items. And again, you can work with this depending on how many items there are. Because we're doing a demo, I'm going to add the blues and the reds together so that I have more time to work on some other things like the sensitivities for you. So I'm going to go ahead and add the red item. And I'm going to go back and add the items. And this is going to add my tray up a little bit. It's going to be a little heavy, but it's okay. So now I added the top red items, which if we look at in here, cold and flu remedies. Did you by any chance, have you been sick lately, or anyone around you been sick that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay, well, those frequencies might be there. Anyway, so now that we've have these items added, we can go to this play button. And again, we can begin analysis. And I'm going to select all and put the timer on 1 minute. And we can run these for 1 minute. I lost the screen. Hold on, guys, just a second. Oh, there it is. Okay, so you're at 37%, which is good. And the harmony alignment goes from 35 to 41, so that's nice and tight. Now, I would like to see that higher, so I'm just going to move the timer from 1 minute down to 0 minutes. And I'm going to deselect the all, and I'm just going to hit the highs and the lows again. And we'll run that for 30 seconds and see if we can get that a little higher. Okay, so we're so close to 40%. It's 39% and we go from 34 to 44%. So again, that's 10%. If we wanted to try to get that a little higher, we can try to do that. I would deselect the highs and just work with the lows. We are working, I did put a lot of items in the tray. I usually like to keep it between 200 and 250. We were upwards of 300. So we're working with a lot of items. So I just want to work with the lows now for about 30 seconds and see if we can get that higher. So really good. So now you can see the average percent rectification is 52%. So that is excellent. And you can see that the energy flow is at 41% and the harmony is 60. So we are right within that 20%. So that is good. I'm just going to now deselect the lows and do the same thing with the highs and run the highs just for 30 seconds. Okay, so again, it's 40%, but it's very, very tight. It goes from 37 to 43%. So that is excellent. So once I finish these first two steps, I always like to check in just because I want everybody to be mindful and have the awareness on these two first steps that I do that aren't looking into any specific symptoms that you might be feeling right now to see how you're feeling, to just do a little check-in. How is your anxiety feeling? How is, how are you feeling overall? Do you notice any shifts?
Um, I
And
can't
it's okay
say,
if you don't.
yeah, I can't really say except maybe I feel a little calmer.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, I think
So I
that
think you
can
were
help.
at like a 3 before. Do you feel like you're calmer than a 3? Where would you rate that?
Okay, how does it go? Good to, what's the
Well, 10 would be severe. So,
oh, no,
so
I think I'm still at a 3, maybe a 2.
okay. Well, even if it's 10%, right? That's 10% is great to start. So now we can go back to the system overview and I'm going to empty out this main whole tray here. And the first thing I want to start out with you is look at sensitivities because that did come up. And if we can work on any of these and clear some of these for you, that might be really helpful. So these are all in food sensitivities. Now, generally speaking, anything that's in the red, again, those are things that are out of balance now. So I wouldn't look at those things as things they're causing a stress on your body, but they're not really causing a crisis. So I would look personally more at the things that are blue. Now, do you have any known allergies or any of these? Do you have any dog? Do you have any allergies to dog that you're aware of or
No,
uh,
I don't think so.
well, pollen, I would assume if you know that there are allergies showing up, anything
Yeah.
with shellfish, grass, oats, green beans, barley
Um,
would kind of fit in
Oats,
under like
yeah, probably oats
you
and
have
barley
an issue with wheat.
with
So, I
gluten.
mean, I would add all these blue items and I would actually add all the green items as well. I like to work. So when we talked earlier about the 4 different ranges, I spoke to you about the red and the blue mostly. And then often people will ask, well, where should the range be? And that will vary based on the practitioners. Myself and a number of other practitioners that I work with like to keep the range tighter. So everything between 400 and 600 would be like your okay range, and anything outside of that I like to work with. So what that means for me is the blues and the greens, because mostly everything in the green range is going to fall below 400 except 50, right? Because it goes to 450. So everything between 400 and 450 in the green would kind of be in that okay range. But I'm not going to, drag and drop each line item. So I would just put all the green items in there. The yellows are going to all fit within that range. So you might want to work with the blues, the greens, and the reds if you're working on a tighter range. For those that are starting out new, I would just trust the genius and just work with the reds and blues until you get comfortable. And then you can expand and go to some of the other levels. So you do see that wheat is in here. So we can add in the green and we can add in the red. Okay, and now we can go to the custom library, and some of the other issues that you were looking at had to deal with anxiety and depression. So we can look at some of those libraries that work with that. And so we have this one here, and I'm just going to add the whole library. So again, and it's not going to want to add. So I'm just going to click on it, and we could add the red, the blues, and I'm going to add the green. And we can also add the one for the depression. And again, I don't know why my cursor isn't bringing this up, but I'm going to add the red, the greens, and the blues. And I'm going to go back out, and I do want to look at your spiritual protection, because your aura was a little dirty, that outside section. And although generally speaking, the spiritual protection library here looks pretty good, but whenever it gets that really muddiness, I always go back to here. So I'm not going to mess around. I'm just going to add all the items from here, because sometimes when you're working with these items and negative energies, they could be a little sneaky. So we have those all added, and now we can run the analysis here. And I'm going to move the timer to 1 minute, select all, and just run this. So awesome. So your average percent rectification is 59%, and the alignment is at 49, and it goes to 68. So again, you're within that 20%. So that's really great. So what I would do next is, since this is above 59%, I would rescan. And then I would deselect the all and I would just run the lows and the highs, move the timer to 0 and run that for just 30 seconds. So that's at 36% and it goes from 28 to 51. So that's outside the range a little bit. So I am going to run this for a little bit longer. I think I'm just going to deselect the highs and just run the lows first. So now that's has come up a little bit. You're at 54%, so that's excellent. So now we could deselect the lows and work with the highs now a little bit. Sometimes you need to work with it in smaller groups to get a little better rectification. Sometimes if there's too many items, your body just can't process them all at the same time. So that's why kind of making it into smaller chunks. So I'm just going to work with the highs now for about 30 seconds. And awesome. So and you can see that that's at 63% and it goes from 56 to 72. That's amazing. So now we can go back. So I want to look at your aura, but I also just want to check in. What I'm going to work on from here is just work a little grounding energies with you, but how are you feeling now?
It's funny you should say grounding because I do feel like I'm a little
Out of your
lifted.
body?
Yes, lifted up out of my body. Yeah.
So yeah, that's very normal when we're working with a lot of frequencies like this. So I generally tend to work with grounding frequencies at the end. I just like to come back and see what your aura is looking like a little bit.
Mhm.
So you can see here, I mean, you can see by generally looking at it, these colors in the center look a little healthier. The green, this part in the middle is your physical body. That's not, I would like to see that looking a little healthier. It's kind of a little dull or dreary looking. So let's just see how everything's looking now. Okay, so we're seeing some dark in here. So there are energies in here that we definitely need to work on and need to clear. And you can see it in here, it still looks dark and dreary. So I think when we work on these grounding energies, I'm hoping that that's going to ground all those and you will feel a little bit more grounded and centered. Let me just clear out the main whole tray here. And we can work on the flower essences as well. And I also just want to work on, whoops. My spelling is not so good today. And I want to just invoke some of these archangels that can help work with you. Just going to call them all in. And again, I'm going to select the timer to 1 minute, select all and hit play. So again, excellent work. It's above 50% and it goes between 43 and 60. So that's within the 20%. How are you feeling after running those? Do you feel more grounded?
I do. It's excuse me, around my heart. It feels very grounded, kind of solid. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's see what the aura looks like. We've run a lot of frequencies, so hopefully these will help kind of like settle what we worked with. And that looks much better. So I think you could see the difference in the different auras. This looks much healthier, much brighter. The center is still a little murky, but overall, you can see that that's much better. And when we look at this, the older version, all four corners are filled, so it is suggesting that you are grounded and more in your body. I have a little bit of sunlight coming in, but so it's kind of distorting my vision on the colors here a little bit, but I'm seeing purple here, which is coming in. It is still a little murky, so there is some stuff that needs to be cleaned up in there, but it's much, much better. And I'm hoping that you're feeling much better as those have changed. So we are at almost 3 o'clock. Do you have questions, or is there anything that you felt that you want to share with everybody that
Well, I just found it very interesting, the sound, how that had an effect. I could really feel how it
so you can feel the
changed things.
sounds?
Yeah, yeah, that felt really good.
That's awesome.
And after that last auric field one, I just my eyes feel brighter.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's really great.
Yeah.
Always good. So your overall score now, where you were at like a 3 out of 10 for the one, has that come down more? I
Yeah,
think you were at like
definitely.
2.
Yeah.
Your calmness.
Probably about a 1. Yeah.
So awesome. So that's like a 20% change. So
Yeah.
that's really great.
Yeah.
And what about your allergies? Can you note, I know that you mentioned post-nasal drip. I don't know
That
if you
still
still
seems
have one.
present. Yeah, it still
That
seems
still seems
present.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, another time then.
Yeah, cross my
We can
fingers.
work
Yeah.
on that.
Thank
So
you.
does anybody else watching have any questions before we leave for today? It's always a pleasure to work with everybody and see you all here. We will be back next Thursday, as always, for a weekly free training. And I thank you so much, Pamela, for being a
Oh,
volunteer.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So if no one has any questions, then that will be all for today. Again, thank you so much, Let me just stop sharing. You can find this training on YouTube under Inside Health Apps, and you can just search my name, Denise Armenio, and it should pop up with the date. It will probably be posted tomorrow. So Pam, if John wants to watch it, I know he had to, he couldn't stay for the whole thing.
Right.
So, and Anna says, yes, is this a nourishment session? Well, in all the sessions, I do nourishment. The first step that I always do is nourishing that auric field, nourishing your cells by using the vitamins, minerals, and amino acids. So that is always included in all the sessions that I do, and is a very important step. And then the next important step is working with the general overview. And then after you do those two steps, then your third step, fourth step, or so on would be working with your symptoms. So I hope that helped. And Inanna, you still feeling well from last week?
Yeah, yes, I'm feeling good.
Good. Good. So, okay, well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you so much. And I will see you next week, same time.
Okay, thank
And
you,
thank you, Claire, as always, for helping out on the chat.
You're welcome.
I
It was very quiet this week.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Very
That's
quiet.
okay.
All right.
So thank you, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Okay, thanks, Denise. Thanks, Anana.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.